The Feel Good Hour podcast
with Sam Griffin
and Nigel Jones.
Real life problems, straight answers, tools that work.
We don't just talk about it.
We help you change it.
The Feel Good Hour.
Listen now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and YouTube.
It's like a coaching session.
You can listen in on
Visit
feelgoodhour.com.
The Feel Good Hour.
Think better.
Feel better.
Live life better.
Hello, welcome to the Feel Good Hour. I am Sam Griffin.
And I'm Nigel Jones.
I am a broadcaster and women's wellbeing and health advocate.
And I'm a life coach, hypnotherapist and author.
You are indeed. Copy of the book on the table, of course. Now, we did the Feel Good Hour on the radio.
We did for over a year.
And we had such a good time that we thought we'd actually do it this way too.
Yes.
We're going to be delving into all different kinds of subjects, some of which are going to be really insightful. We're going to really dig deep, go into the science of it,
Yeah.
not just fluff around the edges.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about happiness.
Today is all about happiness. And I'm really, really looking forward to this. And, you know, just looking at the subjects that we're going to be covering over the whole year, happiness today, but coming up soon, we've got habits, we've got sleep, we've got dreams, we've got anxiety, loads and loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And the key of all this is we're going to dig deep. We're going to ask the questions you want to ask and literally give the answers and real tools that you can use for your well-being and happiness and just general flourishing in life.
The subjects are going to be subjective to everybody. Everyone's going to have a different view on them. If at any point you want to send us a question or if the episode's affected you in any way, do get in touch at thefeelgoodhour.com and we'll get back to you ASAP. Shall we start? We're going to dive into happiness, and I think the most important question, what the devil is happiness?
It's a very good question. So
probably a long answer.
It is a long answer, but I won't give a long answer. Hopefully sort of jump in wherever you want. So there is like an official positive psychology answer to this, and it's based around 5 letters.
Okay.
And the easy way to remember it is the word PERMA, which is PERMA.
Okay.
And so a lot of us think of happiness as just being the first bit of PERMA, which is the P, which stands for positive emotion. And so what that is all about is like if you win 20 quid on the lottery or something goes well for you or your child does something good, you have like this sort of smile on your face and it's like an emotion floods through your body. Now, that is a bit of happiness, but it's probably only like the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
And you've got the other 4 bits within it as well. And I think, you know, in this answer, what we can do is we can like throw those 5 bits out there.
Sure,
and
let's
then maybe
go
go back and have a chat about them. So number 2 is engagement.
Right.
And so this is important because it's about how we find flow in our lives. And people say, oh, you know, where did that morning go? Like if they were playing the guitar or the piano or they were reading a book, it's, you know, they're engaged in something which is leading to flow, and they're forgetting where they are. They're really in the now. And that's really, really important. I mean, does this happen to you?
Absolutely. You know, if I love doing hand building pottery, and if I am in the zone with my headphones on, with that piece of clay in front of me, I can lose an afternoon in a blink of an eye, and love every second of it because I am completely present in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And probably other things as well.
Yeah.
But that one stands out for me 100%.
So that's the P and the E. The R is relationships.
Tough one.
So, but you know, we're humans are people are like to connect.
Absolutely.
And connection is really, really important. So that the relationship element of happiness is really, really up there. And you can see if you know, when you're with other people and you're connecting, it leads to that sort of feeling of I'm in myself. I know who I am.
Yeah.
And so that's a really important part of it as well. The M is about meaning, and this really is about who you believe you are, your purpose in life.
Yeah.
And you know that's a big one, and I think, you know, people can get into that through all sorts of things, that joining groups, clubs, maybe, you know, even religion is included in this.
Yeah,
it's feeling part of a bigger group, or there's something bigger than you. There's more meaning to my life.
And I think that can come at any stage of life as well.
Yeah.
Because, when we're
Yeah.
younger, we actually don't know. We haven't lived life at all.
No.
So actually sometimes, and I'm probably in that zone for me in the last year or so, I am now finding to look into what my purpose is.
Yeah.
And so this can come at any age, guys. Don't think it's something you're going to get from the off.
No, and the thing about purpose is it changes all the time. So the purpose you have as like a teenager is very different to the purpose you have, in your 50s or 60s. And we all have purpose.
Yeah.
It's just that some of us have not found it yet.
Yeah.
And so life can be, the search for purpose. And purpose doesn't have to be sort of grandiose. So it doesn't have to be like I want to be like a world leading pop star.
No.
It could be something just as simple as I like making things out of wood.
Yeah.
Or I like making earrings, or I like doing, so that's what purpose is. It's something that makes you feel, gives you meaning to who you are and why you're here.
Love that.
A lot of us get purpose through our children, our relationships.
Yeah.
And even, like I said earlier on, it could be like religion or a club that you join. Yeah.
Love that. What's the last one?
The last one is accomplishment.
Oh, okay.
And so, these are sort of all interlinked in a way, but accomplishment is like when you set your mind on something. Maybe it's a goal, or it could be something you've been going towards for a period of time, and you achieve it. So it could be like passing your degree, passing your exams, or simply passing your driving test, or just accomplishing something that you set out to do. And that really is a massive, massive boost to happiness.
I love that.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the mindset and the morning routines that we have. Now, everybody can find happiness. Everyone has the ability. Yeah. How do you kind of find out where that is? Where do we need to look for it? Can you explain that?
Yeah. When I first decided that I wanted to become a life coach, I was writing my first book called Walking Back to Happiness, and part of the research I did for that was reading quite a lot of Asian texts or philosophies, and there was this really amazing thing that I read, and I just never forget it, and it really had such a powerful effect on me. And it's the Buddhist parable of the poor man. And it goes something like this. Imagine that there's this man sitting in a wooden shed, like a shack. This, all he has in life is a table, a bowl on the table, and his cup, and he has no money. He has nothing. He lives hand to mouth, day to day, and so he's very, very poor. But he does not realize that under the floorboards where his feet are is a huge treasure, just a huge chest full of gold and money and all the money that he would ever need if he wanted it in the world. Yeah. But he's still poor. But it's just under the floorboards beneath him. And then the actual story ends with, also imagine another person who is unhappy, is anxious, doesn't know their way in life, doesn't know who they are. But somewhere in their mind is the answer to life itself, but they just do not know where to look.
Yeah.
And this is really powerful, because happiness is within us. It's not somewhere where you go to.
Yeah.
And so that, in answer to the question, you just got to know where to look. I mean, that's really, really important. And it is inside you, and you find it by, I guess, not worrying about the things that you don't have, but looking at the things that you do have. Yeah. I mean, that's a really, really powerful way of finding that treasure. Yeah. And also to live in the now moment. A lot of us are unhappy because we think or call ourselves unhappy, label ourselves as happy, because we're spending a lot of time in the past. Yeah. Worrying about something that's already happened, or anxious about something that's not yet happened. So what's staying in the future.
I think also it's really important. I think as humanities, we often focus more on the negative than the positive. Now, completely. I do a lot of talk on my platforms on social media about pockets of joy. Okay. And I think this is really important because we need to make sure that we find those in the course of our day. Now, we can sit there of an evening and think, right, I had a really rubbish day. But actually pin it down. What actually happened during that day that actually did make you smile?
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important, because we can go through life forgetting those pockets of joy and really focusing on the negative.
Yeah, and in a way, what that pocket of joy is you're describing is like priming yourself.
Yeah.
Because we are naturally, by default, a species which believes it's going to be attacked at any moment.
Yeah.
Because we've only been living in centrally heated houses for about the last 50, 60 years, and before but our bodies have evolved to live in the wild, out in the woods or in the caves, and so you've got a piece of hardware on you which is literally waiting for a bear to attack you, or someone from another tribe to come at you with a spear because that you've pinched their meat from their kill out in the savannah or whatever. And so the natural default of the human body and the mind is to think something bad's going to happen. So if you go to the pockets of joy, you start to change that.
Yeah.
You start to flood yourself with gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we let the negative consume us way too much. Trying to keep up with the Joneses at home, all of that kind of stuff. Social media has a huge impact on people. Oh, look how amazing their house looks. Look how many presents are under that tree. We're trying to compete with that all the time.
Yeah.
But actually, if you strip that back, that's all for show.
Completely.
And actually it's not, it's not capable for everyone to be like that. We're all so different.
Yeah. And this, I would loosely call this desire. It's to have what you don't have.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the prime causes of unhappiness.
Yeah.
It's like saying to someone, that they earn, say, £25,000. They think their life would be different if they earned £250,000. But once they get to 250, they want 750.
Yes.
And if they get to 750, they
never
want
ending
2 million.
Yeah.
It never ends if desire is still within you, and if you're allowing desire to come out. And one of the easiest ways, or a good way to actually address desire, is to just look at the things that you have, and just say, well, actually, I'm not going to worry about what I don't have. I'm going to actually concentrate on what I do have, because you've got them. And a really good tool to actually appreciate what you have is to imagine that you've lost it all.
Yeah.
Wait, just close your eyes and just, imagine that everything that is important to you is gone. And that could be your children, your partner, your house. maybe it's even like hot water in the morning in your shower. Or if we look at our lives today, say, versus like the lives that people had even in the 1950s or 60s, the average person is living in a better lifestyle than, say, a king or queen.
Yeah.
I mean, it all goes up, but everything is obviously relative. But one of the drivers, like we're saying here, is this desire thing, and it's so, we call it keeping up with the Joneses, or looking at what other people have got. But just look at what you have already got, and imagine that it wasn't there anymore.
Comparison.
And then you see how powerful and how important
and I was about to say, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, I love that.
Trying to compare yourself to everyone else in your world takes away those moments of joy for you. So, let's move into the psychology and the perspective side of it.
Yeah.
Is happiness more about what happens to us or how we see the world?
Right. So there's quite a lot of work that's done in this area, and there's two. One of the things, or the way of looking at this is there's two. They say there's two types of people: people who have a grateful view, and people who have an ungrateful view of life. And so, the grateful view is someone who says, well, I'm not owed anything, I've been given this opportunity to live and experience my life.
Yeah.
And they just take each day like that. And then you've got the ungrateful view, which is I deserve more.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen to me. And it's up to you what view you have.
Yeah.
You don't have to have an ungrateful view. You could decide, well, actually, no, I'm going to look at the world in a different way. I'm going to look at it as from a grateful pair of glasses. I always say, like, put a pair of glasses on called the grateful view glasses and look at the world
in a different way.
And then take them off, put a pair of ungrateful view ones on, and you feel like it's a different world.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world. So again, that's a really simple tool. If you think you're having an ungrateful view of the world, stop.
Yeah.
Have a pattern interrupt there. Take your glasses off. Maybe put another pair on, which are over on this side.
Yeah.
And the world looks different from a grateful view.
And I think also, you can work super hard. You can show your worth to many, many people. Yeah. The world doesn't owe you anything.
No.
We're all grateful to be on this planet. And that, we're stripping it right back to the real basics.
Yeah.
But we should be grateful for being here.
Yeah. And do you know what? This all ties in as well to a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And if you look at someone with a fixed mindset, they're the ones who think, oh, I can't do that, or people of my age don't do those sort of things.
Yeah.
I'll just carry on and just just get on with my life because I'm not supposed to do anything like out of the box. I wasn't made to do that. Whereas if you look at someone with a growth mindset, they're thinking completely differently. They're thinking, everything's an opportunity. If something stands in the way, then it almost becomes the way. If I remember a few, like 2 years ago, I broke my finger, and I play the guitar a lot. And I literally thought, well, rather than mope around thinking I'm not going to be able to play the guitar for like 6 months because I got a broken finger, I said to myself, well, actually, I'm going to learn the harmonica.
Yeah.
And so I used something that was completely negative to actually learn another instrument. And so the important thing there is, and the tool to take away from something like that is, if something bad happens to you, look at the positive effect of what that could have. And so in the broken finger, I found the harmonica, which I wouldn't have learned to play if I hadn't have done that.
Yeah.
So,
Now, I've heard you say before when we've had our discussions and various sessions together, that happiness is just a thought away.
Yeah.
How can we snap out of that and bring that into our day to day?
So, what's really important is that it's all down to like when you believe you can change your mind. So a lot of people think, and it's just a general misbelief that if I want to say, I don't know, stop smoking or stop drinking, it's gonna take me a while to do that. It's gonna take, oh God, I've got to go through maybe like 3, 4, 5 months of like willpower hell or whatever. And really, there will be a time when you do actually just change your mind. There has to be a point.
Yeah.
So why not do it now, straight away, or as opposed to think that I'm going to stick 5 months of waiting before I click my finger and change my mind. Yeah. So again, it's a mindset thing to say to yourself, if I want to change my mind, I can change my mind. And I think, what's really important about this is our thoughts lead to our reality.
Yeah.
So if you think, and I'll give an example, which is really, really powerful to me, and it's still so central to who I am, was when I decided to stop drinking alcohol, which is coming up to 6 years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I literally, I'd failed to do it many, many times because I had the wrong mindset. I was telling myself, when I was trying to stop drinking for a week or go for a month, that I was still a drinker trying to become a non-drinker.
Yeah.
And the day I did it was I literally went like that. I said, actually, today I'm a non-drinker.
Absolutely.
And I started believing that I was a non-drinker. And what would a non-drinker do?
Yeah.
And I decided, it might be a bit difficult because I'm changing like something I've been doing for like 25, 30 years, but I still believed that I wasn't that person anymore. And and there was that time when I clicked the fingers and changed. And so I'd say to anyone, you can just change like that in an instant.
Yeah.
But you've got to want it.
That's the most important part, isn't it?
It's so important. And that want comes, I guess, from having a why.
Yeah.
There's a lovely quote, which is from Nietzsche, the German philosopher. Often, some people pronounce it Nietzsche, and I've been told off a few times that it's Nietzsche. So anyway, it's Nietzsche or Nietzsche or whatever. But he said that he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. And when I heard that the first time, it was just so powerful, because it's so true that if you want to achieve something in your life or change who you are, it's normally something behind it that drives it.
Absolutely.
And that can be yourself. It can be, I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to see my grandchildren, or I want to see my children, grow up.
Yeah.
Or it could be other people. It tends to be people and connection why people have whys. And that's really important when it comes back to what we were saying right at the beginning of the show, is that, looking at relationships is a central part of happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then again, what we said about, look at the things you have as opposed to what you don't have. If you take away those people in your life, which are really your connection, your loved ones, the ones that you live for, the ones, your whys, then, you're not going to be happy.
No, absolutely not.
But they're around you all the time, but we don't acknowledge them. You should actually bring them central stage. Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that why. And that why is going to drive me on to do the things I want to do.
We always need a why.
Yeah.
Now, again, we've spoken about this before, starting our day off in a primal state.
Yes.
Which I think is something that I found later on in life, but it's something I wish I'd known from an earlier age. What is a primal state? How do we get to that point?
Okay, so prime state is something. Let's say, we could do this now, actually.
Okay.
So if you're happy to go through it, so it's not hypnotherapy, but it's like a sort of NLP exercise. So and anyone can do this. If you're watching this, don't do it if you're driving or whatever.
No, of course
but
not.
Basically, the idea is that there are times in your life, like your wedding day, the birth of your child, when you've won something, that you will be in a really high state of elation. Now, if you felt that once, you can feel it again.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a memory of what it was like. And so this is what priming is. It's going back to those prime moments in your life when you were really, really up there. So if I say to you, if you close your eyes and just think of a memory which is really, really was a prime memory for you, which made you feel the best you've ever felt. You can share it with us if you like, just to tell us what it is.
The birth of my first son.
Okay, so let's go back to that. Just go back to that moment, and then literally just allow it to spread through your body as if you're really there. So just take that time out to go there, to see what you look like, to hear the voices and the sounds that you heard at the time, to have that feeling go through your body, and just, breathe it in and just see yourself. Look down, almost as if you're in the room where you are having that experience, and just watch Sam elated and so happy that her son has been born, and let that feeling spread throughout you. And then build it up. And if it's at 6, let's take it to 7, let's take it to 8. Turn that dial up on it until it fills your whole body. And just really, really let it flow through you. And then squeeze your finger and thumb together just to anchor that feeling within you. And now you're priming yourself. And then just relax, breathe out, and just open your eyes. Right, and then if
emotional,
really emotional,
but amazing
really
at the same time.
If you got up every morning and did that 3 times, maybe with 3 separate memories, you're primed for the day, and you will see a massive, massive difference in the way your outlook on life is. Because what's going on here, Sam, really is, that default mode of I'm going to get attacked and the day's going to throw something nasty at me, or I've got a nasty phone call, or whatever is going on. you're ready for it, but also you're elated. You're full of all this great sort of elation and feelings.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's priming yourself, and it's a really, really powerful tool to do before you go into a meeting or do a presentation or have a difficult conversation or just getting up and having, going out into the day.
Yeah, incredibly powerful. I love it. Now, gratitude is incredibly important
Yes.
for happiness
Yes.
and our well-being. But how important is it?
It is so central. I mean, we're touching on this now as we're talking through it, in the sense that we're talking about the default mode is negativity, or to think we're being attacked. But gratitude is the way we can flood ourselves full of positive energy. And so this is the great thing about this: you cannot be angry when you are feeling grateful. You just can't be.
No.
It's the opposite emotion, and so, or it's an alternative, joyous emotion as opposed to like an angry emotion. So if you're feeling grateful, you cannot be angry. So, and you cannot be anxious either.
No.
So how do we get to feel gratitude? How do we let gratitude sort of go through us? How can we be grateful?
Yeah.
And there are loads of ways of doing this. The easiest one, which we've talked about many times, is these three good things, or three positive things.
Yeah.
And I know you've done that in your journal.
I journal every morning.
Yeah.
And I literally write a list of everything that I'm grateful for, from my house to my husband to my family to my friends to my job to my friends to my dog, everything. Grateful for receiving money. I'm grateful for having my car. I'm grateful to be around.
Yeah.
And I literally every morning start the day off with that list of gratitude.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I do my pockets of joy, what I was grateful for that day. And it really does help ground me.
Yeah.
And actually make me realise that I have spent many, many years being overwhelmed and anxious and striving for the next best thing. And actually, just grateful for being here right now. It's just being grateful for those moments that we have every single day that we take for granted.
Yeah.
And it sets me up for the day.
Yeah. And you talk about journaling there. That is so important. I mean, how does journaling change your life? Or
I think we often think that we think about stuff. I think about how grateful I am all the time. But I think actually having the power in writing it and let it flow from you onto paper has a different effect. Yeah. I find it's more profound. You can always read back on it. And actually every day the gratitude list might be slightly different or slightly longer or shorter. But I think it's important for us to move forward. You need to be grateful for, as you said earlier on, being in the now, how important it is to be present. Those cups of tea you have when you go on your walks, Nigel. We've talked about that before. Yeah. Having a moment with that cup of tea. I'm so grateful that I've got that warm tea in my hand.
Yeah.
This really is the small things.
Yeah.
So important.
And that element of being in the now, I always used to think of meditation as being something that I could never ever get into. I thought it was like you had to have sit cross-legged and have joysticks going and sort of
and no thoughts.
I meditate probably 15 to 30 minutes every day, and I have done for the last 6 years. And I do it, and I build it into my daily life. So if I'm out on a dog walk, I just listen to the bird song or the pitter-patter of my dog's paws going down the country lane. And that's mindfulness and meditation. Absolutely. Because you're in the now, because you couldn't hear those birds or the pitter-patter of the feet if you weren't in the now.
No.
So all you've really done is you've brought your mind back into your body. And when your mind and your body are together, then you're being mindful and you're meditating.
Yeah.
Because it's only when your mind goes into the future, anxious about something that's not yet happened, or dwells on the past, that it almost imagine it leaving you and your body.
Yeah.
Because your body cannot travel through time, but your mind can. And this is really powerful. And that's really the definition. Just bring your mind back into your body. And yeah, by having a cup of tea and feeling the warmth of the cup and sipping the tea and feeling the warm tea going down through your body, that's in the now. And a lot of people find that, they can switch off in the shower. Because that's a great time to literally, so you're on your own. All you can hear is the sound of the water splashing over you. You're getting all the feelings. You're getting the feeling of the water. You're getting the sound of the water, and you can zone out. And a lot of people do zone out in the tower. And they're meditating or they're being mindful.
I also use the shower as an opportunity to cleanse myself. To like wash away the negative thoughts or the feelings.
Yeah, that's great.
That's for me, and I have those meditative times for the shower. For me, water is a huge healer for me. I love the sound of it. I completely resonate with that. Absolutely. Now, if someone's feeling low or anxious, or maybe they're feeling a little bit stuck, what's one small thing that they can do to kind of flip the script?
There's loads of things they could do.
Lots.
So I would say that the easiest thing you can do is go for a walk. Just sort of put your walking shoes on, just have a walk around the park or your garden, and just being out in nature, because that's where we're from. Brings it all back. I mean, I walk every day, and I walk early. Sort of like sunrise. And it's just so powerful to be out in nature and to watch the sun come up and listen to the bird song. And there's no one around at that time of day as well, which is a bit weird, but it's it's like really, really nice. And so that's one thing you can do pretty quickly. And so I'd say, getting out in nature, and nature has such a huge healing power for our bodies and for our minds. And I did a whole course on this, so I did a diploma in it called, the Japanese call it Shinrin Yoko, which is forest bathing. And it's amazing just to sort of open all your senses when you're out in nature. So forest bathing is something you can do really, really easy. And what that is basically is using all your five senses in nature. So you don't need to go to a big woods to do it. You could just do it in your local park. And the idea is that you sit there in a quiet spot. Let's say you're doing it in a park, for example. So this is something people could do. They can look up at a tree, or look at the shapes of the trees, or just look at the clouds. So you're getting your visual through. And science says that, if you look at the branch structure of a tree for more than 2 minutes, you get a 30 to 40% decrease in stress levels.
Wow.
And that's because it's what's called a fractal pattern. And it's proven via science that if you look at fractal patterns for more than 2 minutes, your stress goes down. And it's because we evolved in the woods that these patterns of the trees give us a sense of protection, or like a canopy over our heads. So our ancient mind is reading it as safety. And so just by sitting in that park and looking at the trees, you're feeling safe. Listen to the bird song. Birds tweet at something like, I think it's 3,000 megahertz. I can't remember the exact level, but that level is the perfect level for which our ears can receive sound. And that's why birdsong sounds so nice.
So beautiful.
So you've got, vision, audio, taking the smells of the woods or the trees or the flowers, touch the bench, touch the floor, like earth yourself. And then the final sense would be to drink a cup of like herbal tea or something while you're out there. Even better if you've made it from the nettles on the floor. But so you're really absorbing yourself and all your five senses in nature. And then what happens? The sixth sense comes out, which is you feel one with the planet. And so that's forest bathing, and that's something anyone could do really quickly.
I did it with my dog walk last week. I went up to Kingswood quite early, so the light was very dappled and it was beautiful, and I hugged a tree twice, and actually it made me really emotional. And that is exactly what it was. I was listening to the birds. The light was dappled. It was beautiful. It was peaceful.
Yeah.
You know, the crisp like leaves under my feet and the touch of the tree, just feeling that energy, you know, from the roots of that tree coming into me. It was so powerful.
Yeah.
And people, you know, tree huggers, honestly, do it. It is so wonderful.
Completely.
So wonderful.
There's this thing called you know, the World Wide Web is obviously the internet, but then there's this thing called the Wood Wide Web, which is apparently, and again, science shows that the trees, are something like 70-80% of the trees on the planet are all connected by this Wood Wide Web, which goes underneath the ground. So if you hug a tree in Ashford, then you're effectively linking into all 70-80% of the trees on the planet. So if your mindset is like, you know, wow, I'm connecting with the whole of the tree population of the earth here, and feeling that energy come up through you, then really you're moving into, like, you know, you know who you are. You're part of the planet.
I felt
and
so good.
That's
after
what feels
it.
so good.
Yeah.
I love this
good.
line I read the other day, which is like, you know, the difference between illness and wellness is illness has an I in it and wellness has a we in it. And really, it's once you get out there, you hug a tree, you put your arms around it, and you believe all that energy is coming from the whole planet, then there's that connection, and there's no I anymore.
No.
There's I'm part of something bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to sound like a really weird question. Is there a happiness formula? You know, is there a fundamental way of we can, you know, have a formula to make us feel happy? Or what's the closest thing to it?
There is a sort of formula. It's really difficult to sort of put this into a formula because but what a lot of what we talked about today really is the formula. And I think for me it comes down to, you know, those 5 elements: the positive emotion, the engagement, the relationships, the actual, you know, the accomplishment and the meaning in life. They're all really, really powerful. And then I think we also touched on, it's all about thinking, don't worry about the things that you can't control. Sort of focus on what you can control. And as soon as you do that, you know, your life becomes a lot easier. And also, as we said about desire, you know, look at the things that you have and not the things you don't have. And then finally, I think it's like live as much as you can in the now. I mean, obviously you can't live in the now all the time. You're going to think about the past and think about the future. But the more time you can spend there, the happier you will be, and you'll get. It's like when a morning can flash by when you're making things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the formula is somewhere in there, you know. So it's I'd say it's a mixture of the perma, and it's a mixture of control now and limiting desire.
I think also from people that are maybe more analytic, you know, I have actually wrote on a bit of paper, put a line in the middle, and put things that make me happy, things that make me sad in my life, and then I list them, and then kind of look at both sides and think, well, if I kind of got rid of that, you know, because there are people out there that like to see visual stuff, they're like more analytical, and I actually found that quite empowering, because there was things on my not happy list that I could eradicate quite quickly, and then would then build up the happiness side. So maybe that's something, another tool, maybe.
That's a really good one, and that reminds me of the motorway tool as well. Which is, I literally wrote this down because I wanted to sort of like.
We love the motorway tool.
And so this is almost like he says, I can't find it in front of him, but yeah, it's almost like, imagine that there's like 4 lanes of a motorway, and the lanes are your career, your family, your friendships, or your personal life. And it's almost to say to yourself, how much time do you spend in each lane? So, I mean, you know, so have a think about it yourself. So do you want to have a go?
Okay.
So first lane's career.
Okay.
And then you got second lane family, third lane friendships, fourth lane personal. And the way to do it is to split 100% between them. So if you did
so
each, it'd be 25, 25,
Yeah.
25.
This is actually quite
I'll write them down.
quite significant at my moment in life, because actually I have changed my career.
Yeah.
Because it was taking up too much time away from my family, myself, and my friendships. So at this moment in time, I would probably say it would be a 3-way split. My career actually isn't something that I'm focusing on really at the moment. I'm in that fortunate position where I don't have to worry about it for a moment, but it did all consume. And I would probably say that my career for the last 5 to 6 years was a real heavy chunk of that 100%.
Yeah.
Because I would be out 7 days a week, missing out on things with friends, missing out on time with family, missing out on time for me. So it could quite easily have been like a 40% career, if not maybe more at times.
And what did that look like for family, friends, and personal?
It had the comment that my husband made, which really made me stop in my tracks. Is like, I see the sad, anxious, crying, exhausted Sam, and everyone gets the better Sam. And that was a real realization that somebody who's super important in my life, I should be spending way more time with them, giving them me as me and not a folded up mess, So that was a real moment and real turning point for me. And I need to start working on something else. I need to start working on spending time with my family, with my relationships, and also for me, because I was super burnt out. It was a continual overwhelm of trying to get stuff done, predominantly for other people. And I think that's something else, people pleasing. We'll go on to that on another subject, I'm sure.
We should do a whole show on that.
But that's something that I've done all of my life. And I'm at a point now where I need to make sure that people around me are happy. But because I'm happy. Because it just resonates with everyone. It goes out to everyone else. If you're holding that energy within you, it just filters out to everyone else around you. So yeah, quite a poignant time for me to even discuss this because it's so relevant.
Yeah, and with these 4 lanes, career, family, friends, personal, the research shows that far too many people spend most of their time in literally the career and not enough time in the other 3.
No, absolutely.
But really the lane that actually suffers the most is the personal one. Lots of people don't spend hardly any time on themselves.
No.
And it's so important to look after yourself and have self-care. And there's that great metaphor that if you're on the aeroplane and the actual oxygen masks drop down, you don't put it on the baby next to you first. You put it on yourself. Yeah. Because you're no help to anyone.
Yeah. If you're not there. Yeah, absolutely.
So the self-care bit. A lot of people think of it as sort of being selfish or like looking at stuff, but it's really, really important.
So important
that you're the best you can be, because then you're the best you can be for others.
Absolutely.
So I'd say to people listening to this, watching this, that just get a piece of paper and draw 4 lanes of a busy road, which is your life.
Yeah.
You've got career lane 1, you've got family lane 2, you've got friends lane 3, and you've got personal lane 4, and just split 100% amongst those 4 lanes of how much time you currently spend in those lanes. And then and be really truthful.
Yeah.
Be really truthful. Yeah. If it's like 1% on myself and like 90% on career and 5% on family, just be truthful, because the power of this is the truth. Yeah. And then say to yourself, where do I want to be with this?
Yeah.
And then you've got a plan.
Yeah.
Because you know where you are and you know where you want to go.
And what you've got to change in the middle.
And what's your why? What's keeping you going? Yeah. What's keeping you going? Is it a loved one? Is your partner, your children, your grandchildren? So that's a really, a nice way of actually coming up with, a plan for yourself how to get to happiness.
Finally, let's touch on maybe a belief or habit that you had to change for yourself to become happy.
Yeah, and I think it was the fact that I couldn't change my habits. I mean, that was, and I think a lot of us get caught up into this. It's 5.5 years since I literally decided I'm not going to drink alcohol again. And I drunk for like 30 years, and I held down, very good jobs and ran successful companies. And there's a lot of people out there who literally they drink and it becomes integrated into their life. And I just fell into that. And I just one morning just woke up and looked in the mirror and said, right, this is it. I'm done. But up until that point, I found it hard. There was almost like a fear of stopping. It was like, what would life be like on the other side? And that was keeping me back. And it's that great saying by Joseph Campbell, which is, in the cave that you fear to enter lies the treasure that you seek. And I didn't go in that cave for years because I was fearful of what was in there. But actually, when I got in there, it was absolutely brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic. And so, no regrets, because I had a great life, up to that point. But I would say to people, don't put off going in the cave because you're unsure what it's going to be like, because you make your own life, you make your own way, and just going in that cave, everything opens up. So I'd say that's what held me back, a fear of what the future could be. But get rid of that and everything will open up for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. What an eye-opening episode.
Yeah, it's been great.
It's been great.
It's really, really interesting.
Now, that's the Feel Good Hour on happiness. If something's landed with you today, don't try and do it all at once.
No.
Little bits at a time. Pick one thing.
Yes.
And accomplish that first. And if you want to listen back, you can do. You can find us on Spotify or Apple Music, or you can find the video of our podcast on YouTube. You also check into www.feelgoodhour.com, where everything will be there for you as well. And subscribe if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and then listen to more.
Yeah, and you've got a workshop coming up on pleasing?
So on the 5th of July, I'm hoping holding a workshop for people around people pleasing. It's called Please Yourself. We're going to delve into experience. We're going to have cream tea, some Prosecco. Going to get a little gift and a booklet to take away for you to go away and work on yourself. But it is all about saying no and taking time for you.
We should do a show on that, actually.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think it'd be good to do that. Yeah, in June would be brilliant.
Yeah.
And then, and if you want to find out about sort of my business, and check me out. I'm 9km by 9am, and my book is called Walking Back to Happiness.
I've listened to this a couple of times now, and it's awesome, even though I don't drink, but I used it for other tools. It's really, really good. So thank you so much. Feel Good Hour. We'll be back soon. That's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
The Feel Good Hour podcast
with Sam Griffin
and Nigel Jones.
Real life problems, straight answers, tools that work.
We don't just talk about it.
We help you change it.
The Feel Good Hour.
Listen now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
It's like a coaching session.
You can listen in on
Visit
feelgoodhour.com.
The Feel Good Hour.
Think better.
Feel better.